The courtroom was suffocating. Every movement in the air seemed amplified. Emily Carter, only 5 years old, was about to enter. The sound of her footsteps echoed down the hallway like a drum, marking the weight of what was to come. Beside her, Rex, the German shepherd with a deep scar along his side, walked with purpose, each step making the ground tremble slightly. The silence in the room was deafening. All eyes were on her, small, fragile, determined. Judge Mark Sullivan watched intently. He was no stranger to tough cases, but nothing had prepared him for what was about to unfold. The future of a man, the future of a child, rested in his hands. Emily, the only witness, hadn't spoken since the attack. But there was something there, something between the lines. He could feel it. Across the room, Richard Hale remained serene, calm as ever. Nothing seemed to shake him. The man, ordinary-looking with an unassuming demeanor, sat at the defendant's table. The charge of attempting to abduct Emily was serious, but his defense was solid. No physical evidence, no confession, and a girl who couldn't testify. The battle seemed won. But then, the moment Emily sat in the witness chair, time seemed to slow. Her green eyes met Hale's, and something shifted. The tension in the room thickened. Emily didn't move, but her fingers delicately began to tremble. A movement so subtle, almost unnoticeable. Only Rex and the judge saw it. Rex stiffened. His ears perked, and he began to growl, a low sound filled with immense threat. His golden eyes were locked on Hale, and the air in the room seemed to grow heavier with each passing second. The dog knew. The dog was warning. He had recognized something, and everyone in the room, even without understanding, could feel it. This wasn't just a dog. It was a living witness. Judge Sullivan slammed the gavel down with a thunderous crack that split the silence. The room froze. 15-minute recess, his deep voice rang out, urgent. No one dared question. Everyone was stunned. What had happened here? What was Rex trying to show? In the hallway, Emily knelt, her small hand gripping Rex's leash as if the dog was the only thing still real in a world that seemed to have lost its meaning. Sarah, her mother, tried to comfort her, but Emily said nothing. She only clung to Rex, pulling him close. Jack Monroe, the seasoned FBI agent, watched everything with eagle-like precision. Something was wrong. Something was about to explode. "That dog knows more than we're seeing," he murmured to the judge. "He recognized Hale. He knows something." The defense room was filled with tension. Richard Hale remained silent, his face composed, but his unease began to grow. "That girl, she hasn't spoken, but the dog—" Hale murmured, his voice low, as if trying to convince himself. The weight of the situation began to settle in. He hadn't considered Rex a problem, but now, Rex was the key. The mistake was right in front of him. When the recess ended, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. Hale tried to disguise his anxiety, but the judge's stare and Rex's behavior couldn't be ignored. Sullivan knew somehow that Rex had seen something. The dog had recognized Hale. But why? What did this mean? Then, at the peak of the tension, the unexpected happened. Hale stood to speak, and it was as if the world stopped. Rex once again reacted with a loud bark, a real explosion of sound, cutting through the room like lightning. His eyes were fixed on Hale. Judge Sullivan didn't hesitate. He stood, his presence filling the room. "Mr. Hale," he said, his voice cold but laced with authority. "Do you know this dog?" The courtroom fell into silence. The sound of the clock, the whispers of breath, all seemed amplified, as if each second was an eternity. Hale froze. His eyes wavered for the first time. He tried to disguise it, but panic began to seep through. "Do you recognize this dog?" the judge repeated, his voice cutting through the air with an almost unbearable weight. Time seemed to stop. Hale swallowed, his body tense, his hands trembling slightly. He looked at Emily, then at Rex, and the truth, like a lightning bolt, struck the courtroom. Rex wasn't just a support animal, he was a witness, and Rex knew exactly who Hale was. The sound of the gavel, harder than before, echoed like a final blow. Hale's mask cracked. The man who had seemed so immune to it all was now being exposed in front of everyone. Sullivan, with a look of determination, declared, "I know who you are, Richard Hale. And today, you will face the truth." The room exploded in murmurs. The impact of the revelation was profound. The monster was there, in front of everyone, and he knew there was no escape. Rex, the German shepherd, had unraveled the mystery, and in doing so, he not only brought justice to Emily, but also revealed a truth that no one, not even the most seasoned lawyer, could have predicted.